Hello, my name is Masaf Farooq. I'm from Jhang, Pakistan. My EDX username is mus underscore ab underscore Farooq. My GitHub username is Masaf1. I'm recording this video on 25th January 2026. In this presentation, I will be discussing a potential data breach involving Nike, which was reported in January 2026. It's the most recent event where a hacking group known as World League claimed to have stolen approximately 1.4 terabytes of internal company data. I choose this topic because it directly relates to the course topic for ransom, data exfiltration, access control failure, and enterprise security risk, all of which are highly relevant in modern cybersecurity. Why this incident matter? This incident is important because it is very recent real world cybersecurity event involving a globally recognized brand. This incident is important because it is a very recent real world cybersecurity event involving a global giant and recognized brand. Demonstrates how modern ransomware groups operate not just by encrypting system but by stealing and leaking data. Pressure organization also highlights the challenges of security large enterprise environment where a single weakness can have massive consequences. Most importantly, it connects directly to multiple security concepts discussing throughout this course. Company background. Nike is one of the largest sportswear companies in the world, operating across many countries, many regions, clouds, and other internal company data. The company relies heavily on enterprise IT system, cloud services, and internal digital platforms to manage its operations. Because Nike stores large volume of sensitive internal business data, it represents a highly attractive target for financially motivated cyber criminals. The size of complexity of Nike infrastructure also increased the difficulty of maintenance and consistent security control. Incident overview. In January 2026, Nike publicly confirmed that it was a potential cybersecurity event. A hacker group called itself World League claimed responsibility for the attack and stated that it had stolen approximately 1.4 terabytes of internal data. According to the attackers, some of this data was published online as part time of reporting. The investigation was still going on and the Nike had not confirmed the full scope of and full losses they had. Threat actor World Leaks. Threat World Leaks appear to be data leak extortion group, which is common model used by modern ransomware actors. Instead of relying only on system encryption, these groups focus on stealing sensitive data and threatening to release it publicly. This strategy increases pressure on the organizations by creating reputational, legal, and regulatory risks, even if the system can be restored from backup. WorldLeaks specifically target large and well-known brands, big organizations, where public exposure causes maximum damage. Ransomware evaluation. Traditional ransomware attacks focus mainly on encrypting files and demanding payment for decrypting keys. However, modern ransomware had evolved to prioritize data exfiltration. By leaking stolen data public, attackers increase leverage and reduce the effectiveness of backup alone. This evolution shows that cybersecurity is no longer just about system availability, but it's also about confidentiality and data protection. Although Nike had not released technical details, similar incidents often begin with phishing attack targeting employees. Attackers may obtain stolen or reused credentials, especially if multi-factor authentication is not. Another possibility is the compromise of a third party or vendor account with access to internal system. Remote access systems such as VPN are also common entry points in large enterprise breach. Once attackers gain access, they typically attempt privilege escalation to obtain high level permission. They then move literally across the network to identify valuable system and data. This may include internal file servers or cloud storage platforms. Over time, attackers quietly exfiltrate large volume of data, often without triggering immediate alerts. Course concepts applied. This incident clearly demonstrates several concepts covered in the course. These include authentication and access control failure, credentials compromise, and data exfiltration techniques. It also highlights the importance of the monitoring, logging, and alerting, as large data transfer should ideally be detected early. Finally, it shows how the failure of defense in depth strategies DID can allow attackers to operate undetected. Impact and risk assessment. The potential impact of this incident is significant. Exposure of internal corporate data can cause reputational damage even if customer data is not confirmed to be affected. There are also legal and regulatory consequences depending on the nature of the data leak. Long term incidents like this can lead a loss of trust among customers, partners, and investors. Prevention and mitigation strategies. Prevention incidents Preventing incidents like this require multiple layer of security. Organizations should enforce multi-factor authentication across all systems, especially for remote and administrative access. Applying least privilege access and no trust limits the damage if credentials are compromised. Network segmentations, data loss prevention tools, and continuous monitoring can help detect suspicious behavior early. Regular security audits and incident response exercise can also be helpful. Lesson learned and conclusion. In conclusion, this case demonstrates that even large and well resourced big organizations are vulnerable to modern cyber threats. As the technology is advancing, and similarly, the threat is also increasing. Data theft can become a primary strategy for ransomware and extortion groups. Early detection and proactive security controls are essential to limiting damage. Ultimately, strong cybersecurity governance and continuous improvement are key to reducing risks. Thank you very much for watching.